everyone, welcome to my channel. So today's video I'm going to talk about July forecast for Gemini rising. So anybody with a Gemini rising, Gemini ascendant, Gemini Lagna or moon in Gemini, this video is applicable for all of them. So guys, I've shared my email address, I've shared my WhatsApp details in the description of this video. Anyone wants to connect with me over a one-to-one discussion regarding your chart, you can connect with me on my details. So before I talk about the movement of planets which is happening in the month of July, let's first assess the most important thing, which is your ascendant. So, if your ascendant is under control, if your ascendant has strength, you would be able to take care of all other areas in your life. So ascendant wise, guys, it's a very strong position. Jupiter is transiting in your ascendant, which means, Jupiter being the lord of your 7th house and 10th house, okay, is transiting in the ascendant, making a connection with the 5th and 9th. So that's like the lord of Kendra making a connection with the cone. Okay, that's a great. Ascendant wise, you're protected. It's like divine blessing is on you. It's like God's hand is on you. So ascendant wise, it's a completely protection you have. Now let's talk about the important dates. So 13th of July, Saturn is getting retrograde. Saturn being the lord of your 8th house and 9th house and transiting in your 10th house of profession, of your work, of your business, of your employment. It's getting retrograde. So retrograde Saturn means, guys, you've been working and you've been, since some time, and you just keep on working day in, day out, just, it's happening repeatedly. So you get no time to think. So when Saturn gets retrograde, it is then you reassess, you take a pause, you give you dedicate some time in the day in thinking about, what are you actually doing in your work? Is it beneficial for you in the long run? Are you actually happy in doing whatever you are doing? What is your 5 years goal? What is your next 10 years goal? What is the goal of your promotion? What is the scope of your promotion? What is the scope of your, money getting increased, hike in salary? Same thing in terms of business. You would be reassessing a lot of things about your business, like, what should be. So you would be basically thinking, you would be applying a lot of thought around your work. That's the retrograde part of the Saturn. You would be reassessing. There could be some things which is pending in the past that may come up now when the Saturn gets in the next 5 months when Saturn is retrograde. So the good thing is that, in the next 5 months, you have the entire blueprint ready. So as soon as Saturn gets direct, you would just, start working on your strategy. So you would be making strategy around work. So you would be doing a lot of thinking around your work in the area of your profession. So which is very, very important. So that is the meaning of, Saturn retrograde. And yes, there is a possibility of little delays, of little challenges at work. But, good thing is that Saturn, it just delays. It never denies. Now, the second thing is Saturn being the lord of your 9th house. So there could be challenges with the health of your father. So that's mostly about the, Saturn part. Now that's 13th July. So the next, movement is happening on the 16th. When Sun, the lord of your communication, the Sun who rules the 3rd house, is transiting into your 2nd house, which means Sun is getting 12th from its own house. Okay, which means, guys, 3rd house is the house of your communication, writing, your neighbors, your siblings. Okay, and Sun is getting into the house of speech, into your close family. Okay, in your in the house of speech. Now, which means your speech. Sun is the king. Your speech may become extremely authoritative. It has a lot of, it gets a lot into a leadership kind of a speech at work, in your family, in your social setup. So yes, there is a possibility because it is 12th from its own house. So there is a possibility that you may face challenges because of that, so much authority in your speech. It may not go well with other people. So, try to, be little humble, be little mellow down around your speech. So yes, your siblings. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Your siblings, they may face some challenges. Your neighbors, they may face some challenges. Or there could be challenges in terms of your siblings and neighbors. And short term travel, yes, there would be a little bit of challenges you would face. So that's mostly about the sun. Now, 18th July, Mercury is getting retrograde in your second house. Mercury being the lord of your ascendant as well as the fourth house. So Mercury getting retrograde in your second house of speech, and Mercury is the planet which is, which denotes communication. I'm sorry, guys. So in terms of communication, in terms of any kind of commitment, guys, you got to be very very careful. So any commitment you make, like at your work or with your clients, they ask you for a deadline. You give an X deadline. There is a possibility that you may not be able to deliver on your commitment. Okay, that's one thing. You may not be able to deliver on the, like, whatever, to your boss. I mean, in terms of they ask you for a certain date. By then the project would be completed, or this particular task would be completed. So you may give a date and you may not be able to deliver by that date. So there could be, so one thing is that you got to be extremely extremely careful about making any kind of a commitment. There could be commitment you make with your spouse, or with your kids, or with your romantic relationships, with your mother. And you tell them that X date we go for some holiday, or we go for some like any X thing activity. But then suddenly you realize that there's a lot of things which are pending, so you may not be able to honor the commitment. So that's mostly about the commitment. Now the second thing is, if there is any important transaction, anything which is important, guys, okay, I mean, any kind of communication with your colleague, which has, like, you would be able to do this and this, make sure that it is properly on the email, or you have some kind of an evidence, or it is properly written. Okay, make sure that you don't judge the verbal part. Okay, make sure that you have some kind of an evidence, or some kind of a written communication, or it has to be on the paper. So financial transaction, be very 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 careful. It has to be on the paper. Everything has to be documented on the paper. So that's mostly about the Mercury part. Now 18th of, I'm sorry, the next thing is the 24th of July, 26th of July, when Venus is getting into your ascendant. That's a beautiful transit, guys. That's a beautiful beautiful transit. I mean, Jupiter is already there. Venus would be in conjunction with Jupiter. Now that creates an extremely extremely yoga for wealth. It's a very very auspicious yoga. So Venus being the lord of your fifth house of your romantic relationships, and your 12th house of foreign land, which means on the 26th of July, after 26th of July, there is a very high probability that you make money through the foreign land. Money would happen from the foreign clients. Okay, Venus being the lord of your romantic, romantic partner. I mean, Venus being the lord of your fifth house, which means people who are single, they would be able to find their romantic partner. Okay, people who are already in a relationship, they would see that relationship gets better. People who are facing little bit of issues, challenges around their romantic relationships, they would see all the problems are removed with this beautiful transit of Venus. Because Jupiter is already having an aspect on your fifth house. Okay, so it like Jupiter's aspect are divine, and with the lord of your romantic relationship getting a conjunction with Jupiter, it completely completely protects your fifth house. Now the second thing is, both Venus and Jupiter would be aspecting the seventh house of your marriage, which means your romantic relationships can get converted into marriage also. So now, in terms of wealth, guys, it's a beautiful time for wealth. Beautiful. You can make a lot of money only on the basis of your ascendant. it's just that you got to see that, whether you're passing through with Jupiter or Venus times, maybe Jupiter Mahadasha, maybe Jupiter Antardasha, maybe Venus Mahadasha or Venus Antardasha. So that's something which needs to be checked. But otherwise, it's a beautiful transit. It would be extremely beneficial for you guys. So the next movement is on the 28th of July, which is Mars finally is leaving, Ketu. I mean, that had been a very difficult phase. So finally, 28th of July, Mars would be moving into your fourth house. So fourth house is basically your home, your vehicles, your mother, and your own emotional happiness. So if there is any kind of, damage that has been done with your vehicle because of this conjunction of Mars and Ketu, now you would see after 28th of July, you would be able to get that repaired. If there is anything which is pending around your vehicle, you would see that gets repaired. That's the first thing. If there is any pending item at your home, like the place, your home where you live, if there is anything which is pending, some repair, some kind of a renovation, some kind of, some kind of a damage control. So now you would see this is happening. So good times, in terms of your, this movement. This is like, a big relief. So one more thing, guys, like Gemini rising people, who are passing through with Sadesati and, the 2.5 years of Saturn, which is called as Saturn Dhaya. So they would also get a lot of relief from the effects of Sadesati and Dhaya. So that's mostly what I wanted to talk in this video, guys. So if you, Gemini people, if you've liked this, I would request you to subscribe my channel. I would request you to press the bell notification and also to add a comment, because your comment, really validates my effort. Okay, and also because I've just started this new series, and I would be making it on month basis. So in case you want any kind of you want any kind of changes in that, please suggest me with your comments. So that's mostly what I wanted to talk, guys. Thanks a lot for your time, and you have a great evening. Thank you.